This is a military ID. I also need to see a driver's license. Do you
That's
have
not
it?
what you said. You just said you needed to ID me.
I asked you for a driver's license, a registration, and insurance information. I've
May I have
asked
my
you
ID
multiple
back?
times. May I please see your driver's license? You're failing to present any identification, sir. That is an infraction.
No, it is not, because I have not been suspected of committing an actual crime. My tag is clearly displayed in the back.
You need to have it mounted.
No, it is not. Show me the law where it states that. You said you were going to get it.
Speak with him?
No, I would like to see the law, first of all, that you told me that. And then second of all, I would like your supervisor here, present here.
Give me a few minutes, please. Sarge, do you want to talk to him?
Because right now this is a 4th Amendment and a 14th Amendment violation.
By statute 423202, number plates to be attached.
Okay, that's a Colorado revised statute. You need to show me a law.
And the very rear of the vehicle.
Yes, the very front and the very rear. Ask your trooper right now where my tags are, my front and my...
Welcome back, everybody. As many of you guys know, I'm a law enforcement trainer instructor. I train and instruct military law enforcement all over the country on various law enforcement disciplines to include constitutional law, case law, patrol tactics, use of force, criminal investigations, etc. Here, we're going to kind of just break into this real quick and hopefully just give you guys kind of an understanding of both sides of the equation on this. And I think being that I am former military, I am a criminal investigator, that I can kind of shed some light on here and just give you my perspective overall. So just for starters, I'm not from Colorado, right? I don't know much about Colorado's individualized statutes and laws and different governing policies, which I don't really think matters because Colorado does fall within the 10th Circuit, and the 10th Circuit does cover the swath of area in which I am accredited. So we'll just kind of just take that for what it is. So everything that I'm going to be saying is going to be within the confines of the 10th Circuit and the Supreme Court. So understanding the nuances of individual Colorado statute, I think, is going to be overall not a big hurdle to overcome, again, based upon the fact that I am very familiar with 10th Circuit case precedents and Supreme Court case precedents. So as we look at this, just logically, analytically, and then look at it from stop to finish, it appears that this female trooper made a stop for, from what I can see, a Colorado revised statute, and this revised statute is going to be 42 TAC 3 TAC 202, and it's basically talking about the furnishing of plates. As you can see here, what I think is going on, again, there could be some nuances here. There's different subsections within, but what it looks like is basically a statute for failure to show the whole, license plate or obstruction of license plate. As you can see here, subsection B, no person. So you can see here in subsection B. No person shall operate a motor vehicle within a fixed device or substance that causes any portion of the plate to be unreadable, etc. And that's a pretty common traffic violation out there. Basically, hey man, you have a plate cover that I can't see all the stickers or I can't see the entirety of the plate, therefore that's the reason for the stop. Again, very low level infraction. I believe that's Class B traffic infraction according to the state of Colorado. So it is a very, it's a lower level infraction. Here, you can see that the individual identified himself with a military ID card, military CAT card, most likely. And the officer's like, I don't want your CAT card. I want your military ID. I want your driver's license. That's when this military service member, presumably, is like, well, that's a revised statute. It's not even a law. Show me a law. And starts going on his merry way. So as you can see here, you have two upset people. You have a police officer wants to see a driver's license, and you have a military guy that's like, I already gave you my ID. I'm not giving you anything else. Who's right? Who's wrong? And at the end of the day, I mean, does it really matter? No. So according to Colorado state law, as we can see here, I'm going to put this one on your screen now for you. 42 TAC 2 TAC 115. Basically, exhibiting a license, permit, or identification card. Subsection 1 right there. Basically, nobody who's been issued a driver's license or permit or identification card who operates a motor vehicle has the right to withhold it from law enforcement. And basically, they have to present it to law enforcement when law enforcement has reasonably suspected them of committing a violation, a traffic violation. So I think it's pretty, it's pretty clear here that the trooper has every right to ask for that driver's license. With that being said, let's talk about the nuances. So there you go. You have the statute. She absolutely can ask for it. By Colorado revised statute, he's required to present it. So what do we do now? What should be done? What can be done? What do we do? I can tell you that in my humble and honest opinion, it's very clear here that this driver, is pretty much set in his ways, and he's very adamant that he's not wanting to give anything else. And for the fact that it's such a low-level traffic infraction, I can only tell you what I would do. I can only give you the advice that I would give you and that I would do in real life. If this is the case, and I have his military ID, instead of trying to argue with him, the stop's going to be prolonged because I now have to identify if he has a valid license, and I'm just going to go from there. Now, let me give you guys a little insider baseball, because a lot of you guys may not understand how all these various systems run, and every law enforcement agency is probably going to have a different system in how they query and how they are able to look for wants, warrants, driver status. So the reason why law enforcement, and myself included, the reason why I would want to see your driver's license over your military ID, don't get me wrong, very patriotic, served in the military myself, I myself have a military identification card, is because of the sheer fact that the most important thing that I want to establish here is going to be, do you have a driver's license? Because that's the reason for the stop, wants, warrants, etc. So the ability to take that license number and immediately say, okay, you have a Texas license number so-and-so, I can immediately insert that number into the system, and it will very quickly tell me, okay, is this person licensed to drive, right? Because that's ultimately, a big factor in the traffic stop. So being able to have that is great. Now, if I don't have that, can I still find you? I can. It's just going to mean I have to open up more screens. I'm going to have to copy and paste or transcribe from this system to another system or what have you, right? So sure, can I run John Clark with this date of birth and eventually find you? Yes. I'm going to need to know where you're licensed, if you're licensed, what state you're licensed in, and so there's a lot of different nuances here. So again, how many Jason Clarks exist? What's the date of birth of Mr. Clark, right? Or John Smith, or whoever you may be stopping, right? So if they have a common name, there's probably going to be a lot of hits you have to go through. Plus, you have no idea what state they're licensed out of, right? So you can see how this can definitely prolong a stop. But if you want your own stop prolonged, by all means. And then secondary to that, by not presenting, right, does this trooper have every right to then cite you? They stopped you for the plate, now can they cite you for not presenting the ID? Yeah, so you may leave there with two different citations, and one of those citations in particular is going to be a slam dunk citation. So the citation that has the higher threshold, because the failing to exhibit the driver's license, that is a Class A infraction. So you're actually going to, the citation for not showing your driver's license is going to be higher than the citation for the original reason for the stop. And that's going to be a slam dunk one, because it's going to be on camera that she asked you for it. You're required by law to give it according to state statute, and you refused, intentionally refused to comply. I mean, that seems like a pretty slam dunk case. You're giving her more stats. I mean, you're doing everything in your power to give her something that's actually going to stick in court. So that's kind of how I look at it. And if somebody's going to argue with me, is it worth the time to argue with them back for something that they're not going to do? Is it worth me now using force on an infraction? Is it worth me breaking your window to me, no, right? So everybody's going to be different, but to me, it's, okay, man, you've literally talked yourself into a higher citation that has a higher fee associated with it, and this is slam dunk. This is slam dunk. Your Honor, look at my body camera footage. Look at all the case law precedent that says that I have every right to do this. This is slam dunk for me, Your Honor. And it really is. So if you're wanting to talk yourself into a higher slam dunk threshold violation, by all means, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to use force. I'm not going to do any of this stuff. I'm just going to write you another citation. If that's how I decide to go about it, that's going to be a slam dunk citation, and there you go, man. You just turned something that was probably going to be a warning all the way around into 2 citations. Thank you for your day. Thank you for your service. Long live the Republic. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where everybody's going about it different. Obviously, I would not go about it the way this officer did, the way this trooper did. There's no reason to call supervisors. There's no reason to make it all a big deal, man. Like, I really like, okay, well, wait with me, wait tight. I gotta check. So it's might gonna take a little bit longer, but we'll get through it, man. Okay, here are your citations. I know you don't want to talk to me more. You want to go about your day. Have a good one, right? Like, but everybody's different. Like, I'm pretty chill as a cucumber when it comes to this stuff because, again, there's no reason to use force. There's no reason to get flustered. If they want to talk themselves into a higher threshold slam dunk citation, man, I'm the best criminal investigator in the world. Look at that, right? So again, there's different ways to look at it, but that's just that's how I look at it. That's how I perceive it. No reason to get excited. There's no reason to get antsy. Cool. Somebody wants to talk themselves into a higher citation level. If that's how you choose to go about it, man should be within her rights to do so. So there you have it. Everybody's different, man. I just look for voluntary compliance. That's what I've always been. Never been a ticket writer. Voluntary compliance. And if you can't get that, cool. Well, hopefully by me being able to explain to you and the rationale behind why you're getting 2 citations, maybe that will prevent future conduct in the future when you know, okay, this cop, literally I'm giving him everything he needs or she needs to give me another ticket because of my failure of conduct to abide by statute. So there you have it. But more importantly, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Tell me what you think in the comment section below. Do you like the way I would handle that? Do you not like the way I'd handle that? Please let me know in the comment section below. And as always, guys, long live the Republic.